This Taiwanese LGBTQ+ film went viral overnight. Hundreds of thousands cried after watching it. They said the emotional impact was overwhelming. It's the film released in 2020, Your Name Engraved Herein. The story takes place in 1987. Jia Han is a junior at a Catholic boys' high school in Taichung. During swimming class that day, he met a new classmate named Birdie. Unlike the reserved Jia Han, Birdie was loud and carefree. He was a true troublemaker at school. Taiwan had just lifted martial law then, but the school still enforced strict rules, including bag checks and corporal punishment. When the dorm inspector came with a stick, Birdie boldly followed him into the room. After the inspector left, Jia Han was still anxious. "What are you doing here? Looking for trouble?" But Birdie just smiled nonchalantly. "Borrowing your soap." That night, Jia Han was taken out to meet some girls. When a girl came on to him, he seemed very uncomfortable. "I'm sorry." At that moment, Jia Han hadn't realized what set him apart. The next day during vocal class, the priest told the students to treat their instruments like lovers. Some students teased, "What is love?" The priest replied, "Love is, when I look at you, you're looking at me too." Jia Han couldn't help but glance at Birdie, only to find Birdie was looking at him too. Jia Han quickly looked away, but his heart pounded like a drum. A strange feeling started to grow. That night, back in the dorm, Jia Han saw Birdie being punished by the dorm inspector. Turns out he got caught sneaking in late-night snacks. Later, while Birdie was showering, Jia Han brought him some ointment. This will help with the bruises. Just then, someone approached. Jia Han quickly hid with Birdie. It was Jia Han's roommate, bullying a younger student from the same dorm. The boy was forced to take off his pants. One of them even took out a lighter. Birdie wanted to stop them, but Jia Han held him back. Their noise gave them away. To protect Birdie, Jia Han took the initiative to come out. Jia Han was forced to join the bullying. Just as he raised the stick under pressure, Birdie stepped out and stopped him. Then he boldly took the bruised boy away. This made Jia Han's roommate very upset, but Jia Han admired Birdie even more. Later that night, Birdie secretly came to see Jia Han again. He brought walnuts he'd stolen from the teacher's office. They sat in the dark, cracking walnuts for each other. The cracking sound echoed with their heartbeats, lingering in the night sky and in their restless hearts. After that night, the two grew even closer. They became inseparable. Jia Han even started doing wild things with Birdie, like peeing in a teacher's car to get revenge. During one flag-raising ceremony, they exchanged a knowing glance, then skipped school to go into the city. They joined a memorial event in the city, requested songs on a street record player, and even met a man in a wedding dress, holding a sign that read, "Being gay is not a." Disease in marriage is everyone's right. They watched as the man was taken away by police, looked down on by the crowd. Birdie couldn't help but want to stop them, but Jia Han held him back. In the video room, Birdie asked Jia Han with some sadness, "I wonder what will happen to that man. Will he be beaten up?" Then he asked Jia Han, "If something happened to me, what would you do?" Jia Han just comforted him. "Don't think about things like that." Lost in thought, Birdie fell asleep. Jia Han sat and watched him quietly. Then, unable to resist, he kissed him, just as a janitor entered and saw them. Faced with the man's scornful gaze, Jia Han looked embarrassed and nervous. When they left the video room, all the shops on the street had closed. The two walked in silence through the empty streets. Birdie suddenly turned and asked Jia Han, "Have you ever heard this quote from San Mao? If what you give me is the same as what you give others, then I don't want it." "Oh, so now you understand love. No one in this world understands me." That night, they leaned on each other and slept on the street. Because of each other's presence, they slept peacefully. The hidden feelings between them were slowly starting to blossom, but what awaited them ahead was a cruel reality. After returning from Taipei, Jia Han asked his parents for a motorbike, and the first thing he did was go find Birdie. The two boys sped through the night. They laughed loudly on the street, as if the whole world belonged to them alone. Birdie took Jia Han to a movie theater. He had collected many movie posters and told Jia Han that his dream was to make movies one day. Jia Han smiled and said, "When you make a movie, I'll write the theme song for you." Then Birdie jumped on stage and started acting. Jia Han watched him silently, his eyes sparkling strangely. He reached out his hand and returned Birdie's kiss with a shadow. During the next day's nap, Birdie climbed into Jia Han's bed again. Just as the atmosphere turned intimate, Jia Han suddenly woke up. It was just a dream, but it made Jia-han more certain of his feelings. What he didn't expect was that when he finally stopped running from love, Birdie began to pull away. When the new semester started, the school underwent reforms. Girls were now admitted to the all-boys school. Due to his poor grades, Jia-han was transferred to Birdie's class. During a mixed-gender music class, a strict conservative officer barged in to stop it. Teenage boys are full of desire. How will they pass the exams like this? The priest was displeased with the intrusion. He said he had his own teaching methods. Your method is locking students in here and letting them mess around with girls. Hearing such harsh words, a girl named Ban Ban stood up to protest. Birdie also stood up and joined her side. The officer, furious, wrote down both of their names. Seeing Birdie exchange a knowing smile with Ban Ban, Jia-han felt a bit uneasy. It was the first time he tasted jealousy. During lunch, Jia-han advised Birdie to stay away from the junior girl. He warned that the school might punish him, but Birdie coldly replied, "How are you any different from those annoying officers?" To confirm his feelings, Jia-han sought out the junior, who had been bullied for coming out. He asked when he first realized he was gay. The junior told him he had known since he was very young, that he was like this before and would always be like this. On the way back, Jia-han saw Birdie being surrounded by their roommates. They said they were going to teach him a lesson. Birdie quickly leapt up onto the railing. Classmate was frightened and tried to dissuade him. Birdie smirked mischievously, then spread his arms like a bird and jumped down. That moment, Jia-han's heart nearly stopped from panic. When he saw Birdie was unharmed, he angrily questioned the roommates. But one of them shouted, "Zhang Jia-han, stop hanging out with that homo, or people will think you're gay too." But Jia-han doesn't care. He called after Birdie, but Birdie walked away with a limp without looking back. Later, during a music competition, Birdie chose the love song he and Jia-han had listened to together. The officer angrily interrupted Birdie's performance in public. Jia-han tried to comfort Birdie as he turned to leave, but Birdie pushed him away. Yet Ban Ban's comfort instantly calmed Birdie down. Seeing their closeness, Jia-han angrily turned and left. After Jia-han left, Birdie withdrew his hand from Ban Ban's. His eyes revealed a trace of helplessness. Since then, their world of two suddenly had a third person in it. The three of them had dinner together. Jia-han became the one left out. Seeing the two being so close, he turned away, both sad and angry. Birdie couldn't help glancing back at him, but kept a nonchalant expression. Jia-han went to the priest to confide. For the first time, he felt heartache. He began to feel anxious and insecure. He didn't understand why boys liking boys was considered a sin. Jia-han was praying in the chapel, not knowing when Birdie had walked in. He folded his hands and pretended nothing was wrong, praying that Jia-han, like him, would soon find a girl to like. Hearing this, Jia-han was furious. But Birdie told him, "Can you stop hanging out with me all the time? We can be really, really good friends, and I can even introduce you to some girls." Birdie said it so casually, like it didn't matter at all, as if they had always just been regular friends. Jia-han was deeply disappointed. He turned and walked away without a word, but he didn't notice the flicker of sadness on Birdie's face. Hurt by Birdie's sudden coldness and distance, Jia-han felt deeply wounded. Maybe out of spite, he went on a date with the girl Birdie introduced. But during the date, his mind was completely elsewhere. The girl told him the hidden meaning of good night. If you take the initials in pinyin, they spell, "I love you." After hearing that, Jia-han immediately thought of Birdie. He sent goodnight to Birdie's pager. The next day, Birdie acted like he didn't get the message at all. Before Jia-han could explain, Birdie interrupted him, asking for help with something. That night, Jia-han went with Birdie to steal a hot air balloon. The next day, in front of the entire school, a balloon filled with goodnight confessions rose into the sky. There was no name on it, but seeing Ban Ban's shy smile, Jia-han felt deeply disappointed. So, Birdie knew everything, but pretended not to. Heartbroken, Jia-han decided to ignore Birdie forever, but not long after, Jia-han suddenly got a call from Birdie. When he arrived, Birdie was covered in injuries from a car crash. Jia-han couldn't help but soften again. Seeing Birdie barely able to move, Jia-han insisted on helping him wash up. In the privacy of the moment, the intimate tension between them grew stronger. Birdie, who had always suppressed his feelings, couldn't help but kiss Jia-han. Then he cried and kept apologizing. Jia-han thought his love was finally returned, but after the kiss in the bathhouse, Birdie became even more distant. A few days later, Birdie and Banban's relationship was reported. Banban was expelled from school, and Birdie was also punished. Birdie's father flew into a rage. He stormed into the school with a stick to beat him. Jia Han rushed in to protect Birdie. "Officer, I'm the one who was in a relationship. I released the balloon. It was me." Before he could finish, Birdie punched him to the ground. The two started fighting, until the priest rushed in to pull them apart. That night at home, Jia Han found Birdie complaining to his parents, saying Jia Han was stealing his girlfriend. Birdie was using this as a way to protect Jia Han. He didn't want Jia Han to ruin his future because of him. Heartbroken, Jia Han asked, "What do you want me to do so we can only be good friends?" Jia Han didn't want to pretend anymore. He decided to tell his parents the truth. "Mom, the one I like isn't that girl. The one I like is Zhang Jia Han. Can you please stop bothering me? If I dare say who I like, do you dare? What's wrong with being gay? Is being gay disgusting? If you really think it's disgusting, then say it right to my face." Seeing Birdie avoid eye contact, Jia Han, completely heartbroken, ran out the door. Worried, Birdie followed after him. From night until morning, they walked until they reached a deserted seaside. "If you keep walking, I won't care anymore. I mean it. Can't I just go somewhere where you're not around?" They arrived at the sea. They poured out all their pain and bottled up feelings, and all the unspoken secrets hidden deep inside. Maybe only here they could stop caring about the world's judgment. They don't care about worldly opinions. 2 years later, Jia Han got into university. Birdie didn't pass. Jia Han called Birdie one last time. Listening to that love song they once heard together, they both wept, silently on either end of the line. Many more years went by. Jia Han heard the priest had passed away, so he went to another country to visit the grave of the priest who taught me in the past. He learned that Birdie often visited a certain bar, and there 2 boys who once loved each other deeply finally met again. The unforgettable past had now faded into a gentle smile. They could finally laugh and open their hearts, sharing memories of those times. "Back then, I really loved you." At last, Jia Han heard the confession that had haunted him for years. They wandered aimlessly through the streets for a long time. As they parted, they said goodbye. "Good night." In a daze, they seemed to return to their younger selves, carrying instruments on their backs, laughing and messing around, full of reckless youth and freedom. The name engraved in my heart. You are hidden in that dusty, sealed place. If not for that, how could I live the rest of my life? You can soar freely, but I can only remain stuck. Your Name Engraved Herein was directed by Liu Kwang-hui. It premiered in 2020. The story is based on the director's own experiences and tells of a sincere and passionate love between 2 young men. Love is such a beautiful thing. How could pure love ever be wrong? Gender has never been the boundary. It's prejudice in people's hearts that is. No one ever said a boy must grow up like a pine tree. If he chooses, he can bloom like roses or sunflowers too. Even today, many kinds of love are still not accepted by society. In an age where violence is just a click away, we begin to understand it's not just knives that can kill. Every hurtful rumor and insult, it could be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. The movie ends here. If you find it interesting, please give the channel a like and subscribe to the channel. That is a great motivation for the channel. Thank you very much.